First question is, can you describe to my audience what is a medium versus, say, a clairvoyant?
Like a psychic?
Yes.
A psychic can read your future, and a medium picks up on loved ones that are around you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a loved one. It could be a good friend or whatever. You can't choose who comes forward for one person. They may expect it to be their aunt, uncle, mother, father, and a cousin could come forward and speak. So the difference is a psychic can read your future and tell you what's going to happen in your future, and a medium picks up on spirits that are around you and that come forward like during a session, basically.
Okay. Is there different divisions of mediums?
I'm not like certified as a medium. I have went through testing through like special groups that they give you a test, the people that are ahead of it, and they let you be an approved reader or an unapproved reader. And an approved reader would mean that you pass the testing. The testing's kind of hard. It's not something that you can just guess or assume. So, they're like, what do you mean? Like, what stages?
So you're saying is that you're not certified, or?
No, I'm not. Like, I don't have papers stating that I'm a medium, but I have clients that come back on a regular basis, so doing something, right?
Okay, I know that. In my case, I can do some medium work also, but I am definitely not. That's not my forte. It's just something I can do once in a while. So when did you find out? How did you discover you had this ability?
My great aunt is also a medium, and whenever I would go to her house, I would hear things and I would see things, but I thought I was either, number one, going crazy. I was about 11 years old. Or number two, I was seeing things and hearing things that other people weren't. So when I told my mom and dad this, they told me I was crazy and I was, just hearing things and seeing things that weren't really there. And then I told my aunt, and she's like, you could possibly have this gift too. Let me work on it with you. So it was then my guides, Jean and Landa, came forward, and I could hear them, I could see them, I could speak to them, and they worked with me for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I was able to understand the signs and how to piece it together.
So how old were you at the time?
About 13, 14.
Okay. And you say your aunt is also a psychic medium. Is anyone in your family involved with this as well, besides your aunt?
Not psychic medium, just medium.
Okay, medium. Is there anybody else in your family that's also medium?
Oh, yeah, my grandma on my mother's side, my great aunt on my mother's side, my uncle on my mother's side. My mom, I think she had it as well, but I don't think she wanted to work with it.
Okay.
She was more kind of scared than I was.
So, now being you also were training in the mental health field, how do you think this compares with things such as schizophrenia and some other mental health conditions?
Schizophrenia, there's different forms of schizophrenia. The main form of schizophrenia is when you hear voices in your head and you don't hear the whisper, you hear voices in your head. I don't hear them in my head. I hear them in real time.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Other people don't hear them, but I can now. I'm at the point where, whenever I do a session and I open up, it's called a chamber or whatever, but when you open the door, it's like you know what I mean, whoever comes forward can talk.
Okay.
Mostly during meditation, and, you know, before session, we always do a meditation together.
Okay, now, of course, related to the mental health field, do you think that the psychotropic medicine are now prescribing, I know Dr. Peter Bergen has talked about this as well, do you think that some of these psychotropic medications may be actually destroying potential mediums' ability to explore this field?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But to be diagnosed as schizophrenia, or to have to be schizophrenic, you can't just, you know, go to a doctor once and say, hey, I'm hearing voices in my head, something's not right. There's a series of tests, you know, a doctor has to do before they can give you a diagnosis, as with anything. So, you know, I have one patient who is schizophrenic, and when she doesn't take her medication, she says she hears voices in her head, you know, and she does off the wall stuff like, you know, eating raw hamburger or something that, you know, most normal people won't do. So there's several testings you have to go through to be diagnosed with anything than just one thing.
Okay, let me tell you some real quick what's going on in New Zealand and the mosque shooting, just because it sort of matches. The one, according to Alex Jones, the man claimed he was hearing demons telling him to do this shooting. Is that possible? That demons could be giving this man instructions to do this kind of heinous crime?
It depends on what you practice and what you believe in. Do I believe that there are demons? Is that what you're asking me?
I guess that's the first part, yeah.
You know, some people say that God and, you know, the devil are the same person, but I don't know how to answer that.
That would make no sense, considering that Lucifer was a high angel of God, and he was the one he defected from heaven, so I don't see how he could be God at the same time.
No, I'm saying, like, I see some people say that, you know, God and the devil are the same person. So do I think that they may be hearing voices in their head that could make them think it's a demon? The people that believe that, then yeah, that's what they would believe. They would think.
Okay.
I don't know the guy's medical history, you know, to say, hey, he's done this before on several occasions, so it could be a possibility he does have schizophrenia, or I don't think a demon's just going to come up to you and haunt you and say, hey, go kill people.
How does the mental health field deal, or how has the diagnosis of the mental health field improved or not improved when diagnosing people who may be mediums versus the standard DSM-5 definitions, as I said, like of schizophrenia, hearing voices, clairaudience, clairsentience. I have clairaudience. Some people don't even know what that is, but this means you can hear voices of other people. But the thing is how has the modern mental health field advanced or not advanced when working with people who are mediums?
I haven't necessarily seen a patient come in yet that is a medium. Like I said, I'm going through school through that, so I don't know how to answer that question. I can ask the training doctor that question and get back to you.
No, that'd be cool. I'd love to hear that.
I can do that.
But how can a person determine if they are a medium? What basic steps would you suggest that the person do to determine if at least they have the ability?
What my aunt first did to me was she had a meditation tape, and she would tell me to lay down and just listen to the music, and then she would say, tell me what you see. And I would lay down and I would listen to the music, and it would be like I was in a different state of mind. Like I could see people, I could see these bright images, and I would tell her what I was seeing, and then when we were done, she would tell me, when you see this, do this. When you see this, think this. When you see this, you'll be able to converse with them. Now, I'm not in complete meditation when I do readings. Like you saw with Stacy, I had talked to her first, and then I think the spirits that were around her knew that I was a medium, and the next time she called in, they stepped forward immediately.
Okay.
And
so for you, what do the spirits look like? I mean, do they look like people? Do they look like energy? How do they look?
People. They're people. Some are dark, some are bright. I don't technically like speaking with the dark ones because, you hear of people being possessed.
Right.
You hear of people being tranced. But you have guides that you have respect and you trust them.
Okay.
So they only let the good ones come through. Now, before, I am able to see dark ones, and then after that, if anybody does see that, I would recommend burning sage.
What is the scariest experience that you ever remember having as a medium?
The scariest?
Yeah.
I was in the bathtub, and I just got out. I bent down to pick up my hairbrush, I think, and I stood up, and I could see this guy standing there, but it was like in and out, like faded in and out. And I didn't know why he was there or who it was, and it scared me. I went to bed that night. I woke up, and he was sitting on my bed. And I told my aunt the next day, I was like, listen, there was somebody sitting on my bed. There's a guy here. I don't know who he is, why he's here. And she's like, calm down, calm down. That was the owner of this house, the previous owner. He passed away. He's here. I allow him to be here. He's a good person. And then after that, I never saw him again.
Okay. So
yeah, it's scary.
So is most of the mediums in your family women, or are some men mediums too?
I have an uncle who's a medium too.
Okay.
He's on YouTube, but because of the hatred from your followers, I won't say his name.
Right. Now, let's see. Let me try to think of the next question. Okay. Now...
He uses a spirit box.
I have no idea what that is.
It's kind of like he built it, and it's like a microphone that he puts white noise into, and spirits can manipulate the white voice into words.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. Some people are doing that with digital audio recordings.
Yes, I do have a digital audio recorder as well. The DC60 or the DR60.
Yeah, I know the digital tape is fairly popular for that, or digital recordings. I think in some cases they say they're more effective than analog audio tape, although...
it can be. He can use it really well to where I can't understand what they're saying. So I have like a whole file saved up on the thing that I haven't deleted so he can listen to it and tell me, like, what are they saying? Because I can't pick it up.
Now, what about for somebody who doesn't have family that's involved in the medium's business, and they think they may have it? What would you suggest they do besides first possibly go to a therapist to make sure that it's not something such as a psychomedical condition? And let's say they say you're clean, you're good, you don't have any issues.
I didn't go to a doctor. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not schizophrenic. There's different types to mental illnesses. Like, you don't only just hear voices. You'll have other actions as well.
Right.
So if you go to a doctor and you just say, I'm hearing stuff, and if spirits feel that they're scaring you, most of them will back away.
Right.
Most of them don't want to scare you.
Okay, so let's just say the person goes into the psychiatrist, the psychotherapist, they do the test, it's a Minnesota multiphasic profile inventory, and of course they come back clean after several sessions. So obviously now that they know that they are not having a psychological condition, now what would be the next steps they do? How can they research the material, find out more about it? You know what? I'd have never met a medium who thought that they were
mentally ill because they were hearing stuff.
Well, maybe they did the testing because maybe other people thought they were sick in the head, so they wanted to make sure that was not the case. You know, some people are a little bit cautious in this day and age, especially with people like doing shootings and like the James Holmes situations and especially the Adam Lances of the world, and we all know that.
Right.
So they may have wanted to say, well, I want to make sure it's not a psychosis first. Okay, so now let's finish it. Now they've been cleared by a doctor. They don't have any psychosis. And now they need to find out how to learn how to use this gift. Now, is there any books or periodicals available to them to help them learn how to use their abilities?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty of books out there. There's one by John Edwards.
Okay, I do know John Edwards, yeah.
You know who John Edwards is?
Yes, I do. Okay, so books by John Edwards are a good choice. Sylvia Browne is another good choice. What do you think about Rebecca Marina Messenger? I don't
know who that is.
Rebecca Marina Messenger is a spiritual teacher on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Okay. So I don't know anything about her.
Okay, so you know nothing about Rebecca. Okay.
Hold on, I'm looking at this.
Okay, let's talk about something related to the field we often hear about, maybe related to fortune telling and some of the stuff that used to occur and still does about scams and shams. Is it true? I mean, that there's a lot of fakes in any field, like sir. But how can one tell a real medium from the fake ones?
You'll be able to tell. I know several people that have told me that they went to a medium in the past and they've actually paid for it and they said nothing to them that they could even relate to. I've never had that experience. I had one person, before I give a reading, I ask them if there's anything that you don't want me to speak about, or is there anything you don't want me to cover. If I get too personal, just let me know. And they'll say, okay, nothing. And then I'll ask them, do you have a past child that was it a miscarriage or something? And they'll be like, why would you bring that up? You know what I mean? And I can't say what they're going to say or who comes forward, but they will definitely confirm that they're there for them, as you have seen with me in other readings.
Now, you don't charge for your readings. Your situation is you're more like you accept donations kind of thing, but you're not charging like a regular rate.
Right. Not at all.
And I think you told me the reason you do that is because it's a gift to you and you want to share your gift with other people, and if they want to make a donation, they can do that. If they don't have to.
Exactly. Like, nobody in my family, we're all nurses, doctors, military cops, whatever, and none of us have ever charged for a reading, but a lot of people will leave money and be like, I can't believe I'm so happy, I feel so much better, please take this from me, or, they'll send me gifts in the mail or whatever, but yeah, I don't necessarily charge for anything.
Brings another related question up, which is regarding fakes and charging. What do you think of things like the Psychic Friends Network kind of things?
Like if somebody comes up to you and they say, hey, there's an older woman standing here beside me and she wants me to relay a message to you and her name's Margaret, and that person says, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And I'm like, they just want you to know they're okay. It can happen at any time, like I tell the people that I am working with, try to focus with me on the person that you're thinking of. Don't tell me who it is, and obviously don't give me any initials, but I'll see if they don't come forward, they don't come forward. Now, like the psychic mediums on TV or online that say that they want $2.99 a minute and they're a tarot card reader and whatever, they basically sit there and they describe themselves for the first 12 minutes. So there's your 10 free minutes. And then you get charged like $2.99 for a reading that doesn't make any sense and can necessarily scare somebody's future. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So basically they're saying is, all right, we're going to talk for 10 minutes, talk about my abilities, yada, 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 yada. Okay, thanks for the $29. I love you. And then, okay, so let me flip through these deck of tarot cards and let's pull up the
and they'll
future.
say to you, I see you're struggling with money and you want a better job. Who the hell doesn't?
You know what makes me laugh when I hear someone they say that they is so common. But obviously, if someone ended up spending $29 just to hear you talk for 10 minutes about what your abilities are, they're definitely going to be struggling for money.
It's funny you said that because I was so angry and I was so, didn't want to do this anymore because why should I connect other people with loved ones if my loved ones don't come through to me? And it took me a while to accept the fact the reason they don't come forward for me is because they don't want to hurt me and they don't want me to see, them. For some reason, it's common. I mean, you can look it up. A lot of mediums, their loved ones don't come through to them, but I have a medium group here that I go to and they will come to other mediums for me, which is it's kind of upsetting in a way, but it makes me feel better connecting somebody with somebody's past that they've been waiting and wondering, for years, is this person okay? It makes me feel better knowing I can go to another medium and they'll come through to them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, when I was frustrated, I went on to this psychic hotline and I paid $2.99 a minute for 20 minutes. And all this lady told me was something in the near future was going to happen big and I was going to be blessed. And that she sees I'm struggling with money and paying bills and whatever and this, that, and whatever. Basically rambled on for 20 minutes just saying stuff that relates to everyday people and everyday news. So, yeah, I was very frustrated with that. And that's where people get me confused. I can't flip cards and tell you stuff that relates to you. I actually tell you things that only you and this other person knows. I don't ask questions. I don't ask for past people. I don't watch videos. I don't look up these people. I don't know anything about them. Okay.
So, in other words, when you go to something like the Psychic Friends Network or something, what you're going to end up hearing is basically it's a money-making venture specifically, and that the information that the medium is giving is more or less probably very generic stuff that almost everybody's going to experience.
Yeah, and you always have to ask a question. They'll say, ask me a question and I'll tell you the answer. Should I stay with my boyfriend or leave? Most commonly the answer is leave. Because if you're wondering, then leave. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, oh, thank you so much for letting me know I should have left. It's like, if you were asking, then it's probably not a good situation.
Right.
They know how to work your minds pretty good, but I can't possibly guess the people that come forward for somebody. I can't be like, oh, hey, who is TS? They're giving me a nickname, a Theodore or a Theo or something, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, we called him Tits. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, okay, so what was his real name? Oh, his real name was Teddy or Theodore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't just come up with names, and they obviously have a person's past with this name, you know?